Okay. Well, we're running a little bit over time, but I would like to welcome both Rick Campos from the Design Biz Survival Guide and also one of our members, Meredith Huck. They're here to talk about High Point Market. Um, Maybe both of you can make yourselves known. I did see Rick on here a little bit ago.
I'm here.
And I'm
Hi,
here.
Meredith. Hi, Rick. How are you?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, hello.
Great. So, as I understand it, Rick, I know you have been to market several times.
I have.
I've been going for about 10 plus years. I used to go when I worked for First Dibs years ago. So I've been going for a long time. I'm actually skipping out on this spring market. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But everybody else is going. So my whole team is going. Phil, Gina, Renee, everybody's going. And Meredith, if I'm not mistaken, is this your first market or one of your first
I
market?
am a rookie and I am
Oh, yeah.
sweating.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You're in good hands.
Yeah,
Great.
first timer. I'm so sad you're not going to be there, Robert.
Yeah, no, I know. I will be at Fall Market, which is typically when we all go as a full company because we actually have an all hands meeting when we're there. And yeah, it's fall. I think for us is a little bit more of a production for us as a company as a whole. But we will be having our very first activation for Spring Market. So we're going to have a booth. We're going to be actually manning a booth along with Stacey Cohen, who does Design Talk, and it will be actually outside at the Showplace Walk. So in that quad area in between Showplace and IHFC, which are the two main buildings at High Point. So we'll be outside. You can stop by, get a refresher, get a drink, talk to the concierge team. Phil, Gina, and Renee are going to be there. Also, Peter and Kristen from our PR and marketing team, they're going to be there. And then also stop by and talk to Stacy, who's actually one of our members, but she's also a business coach, and she is fantastic. I actually took her class up in Montreal last March, and it was incredible. So highly, highly recommend stopping by there.
And Meredith, you'll see that location is perfect because there's a lot of walking between those two main buildings. And so that's perfect visibility for Daniel House Club. And literally, I think everyone at High Point Market will stop by and check it out.
I love that.
That's for when they are going to the Meredith Huck and Rick Campos events. So.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think it would be great to understand Rick from you and also Meredith, because I think there's probably a lot of members on this call right now who are in the same boat that you are, who haven't been to market, or maybe this is their first or second market. But just kind of talk through, Rick, because you have a lot of deep experience going to market. But just talk through some of the things that best practices, things like that. It is daunting. It can be very daunting to go to market. It's huge.
Yeah, it is a lot. It's a commitment.
Yeah,
it's a commitment, but it's a lot of fun if you plan ahead. So thank you, Robert, and thank you, Daniel House Club, for having me. And before I dive in, I want to acknowledge what this concierge hour is amazing. Like, you guys do this every month. It's so incredible. So kudos to you for doing that. And Daniel House Club is a sponsor of my podcast, and I know a lot of my listeners have signed up for Daniel House Club, and I'm going to make sure that they're taking advantage of this concierge hour because it's full of valuable information. But as far as High Point goes, I've been going consistently now for 6 years. A couple of years ago, I was a market pro, and that's when I really kind of had to learn the lay of the land because I had to see a lot in a very short period of time, do a lot of posting and that sort of thing. Because typically I have a place to show up to moderate a panel or do a discussion, and then I just have free time in between. When I first started going to market, I went with a colleague who actually went to market to buy because she did model homes for developers. And so that was her opportunity. She actually shopped at markets. So they made appointments in advance. They placed huge orders, took advantage of discounts and freight discounts and things like that. So I saw firsthand like what that process looks like. And then I've also been just to look and shop and source. And so there is, so much to do. As far as tips, like where do I even start? Download the app, 100%. It's there for a reason. The app is really valuable. So download the app so that you have access to all the showrooms and you know where they're all at. And more importantly, it has the map for the shuttle schedule. This is not a time to be bougie and not do public transportation. This is a time when you want to take the shuttle. Trust me.
And wear comfortable shoes.
And wear comfortable shoes. I've never rented a car in High Point. I've always relied on the shuttles from the hotel to High Point Market and all around, and an occasional Uber. So that's a little bit of advice as far as, you know, logistics. Obviously,
We'll just get a plug in real quick, Rick, because yesterday we sent out a map of High Point where all of our vendors are, or I don't know if it's all vendors, Peter, but a good portion of our vendors, correct?
All exhibiting in High Point vendors. Yeah, if they're not exhibiting, then they're not included. And a couple of references to previous locations where some of the vendors have moved this year. So,
oh, that's valuable. Yeah. So the first thing I think everyone should do is check out all of your favorite vendors that you're sourcing from on Daniel House Club. This is your opportunity to see all of these products firsthand, do the sit test, turn it upside down, open up drawers, ask all the questions. I mean, that's what High Point's all about.
Do you think, Rick, it's more important to also hi? Is it more important? Like, I am struggling right now trying to decide, okay, do I go to my tried and true vendors that I source through Daniel House Club and, to your point, sit and turn and swivel and maybe I'll lay down and take a nap or something? Or should I be trying new vendors? And I hope you're not going to say both, because I don't have time for both, I don't think. Like, what are, I'm like really struggling with like what I'm comfortable with versus, oh, wow, I've never heard of so-and-so, or I've never used so-and-so. Their stuff's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I always tell designers, especially like West Coast designers who are going to High Point, and I tell them, if you've seen that vendor at Las Vegas Market, don't take the time to see them again in High Point. Like, you've already experienced it at another market, so use this time to discover new vendors. And you do have to create a balance. So there are some vendors that you'll want to see in person if you've never seen them before, especially if they're high volume vendors for you, but you definitely want to divide your time up and experience new vendors. And here's the thing about High Point too, is not only are all the big names there, but there are so many vendors that you've never heard of. And so I encourage everyone to like explore and go off the beaten path. You know, I have a couple of favorites that I always go to. Space 313, which sounds kind of random, and it's off the beaten path, but there is a shuttle stop for it. They're talking about it for a reason, because it's really cool. There's a company called Schwung that's inside of this space on the whole main floor, and then the upper floor is just a bunch of random artisans, and it's really exciting to see just really, really unique items. So it's worth taking the time to see something like that, and then also balancing that with seeing the big names that are always a pleasure to see. The experience is always fantastic. The energy is great, but more importantly, to see and touch everything.
Yeah.
So I think like IHFC, Showplace, and the shops at Market Square are like there's so many things to see in just those three buildings. Those are good like bases, I feel. And then there's a lot of showrooms that are just kind of on their own as well.
Yeah.
So like, it's you got to have a game plan. Sure.
But Meredith, you're all about efficiency. So in the interest of efficiency, like even in those big halls, when you're walking through them, at least this is how I do it. Not every single vendor is for you. Not everyone there applies to you and how you do business and how you design. So you really have to be efficient when you're walking through these halls and seeing all of this, and literally just walk by. You can tell just by looking at it, that's not for me, that's not for me. And then if something catches your eye, that's where you invest your time, because you will not see everything. You can be there all 6 days and you will not see everything. For sure.
We have a raised hand. So Beth, go ahead.
Oh, Beth's on mute. I see her moving her lips.
Here we go. Okay. Yes.
There she is.
Yeah. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Great. Yeah, this is awesome. Everything you said, Rick, is absolutely true, because you need to see your standards, and you need to see new. That's for sure. Especially the standards that you know that you're sourcing. Like if you're doing a lot of upholstery through a company, through Daniel House, definitely go sit on it so that you can say, yes, this is what you want. You know, this is how it sits. Take an extra pair of shoes that you can change into in the afternoon in a backpack, because that will help. Small umbrella. But the other thing that helped me early on when I first started going to High Point was I started thinking, where is the gap in what I have and what my clients are looking for that I don't feel comfortable sourcing. And, you know, one year I went looking for lamps because one of my favorite lamp vendors decided to close. So that was my whole focus. Another year I went looking for furniture that was similar to Restoration Hardware. So, you know, think about where your gap is or what you're hearing people talk about a lot, and make sure that you put that as a priority, because that will guide a lot of your decisions, because there's so many wonderful things to look at. So many wonderful things.
Really good point, Beth. Really good point.
Yeah, that's helped me a lot.
Yeah, well, the fashion point is good too. The shoes. So also, Meredith, if you have your Louboutins packed, take them out of your bag. This is not about fashion.
Come on. Do you think I got those? No.
I had to go there.
Yeah.
This is not a fashion show. It just blows my mind still sometimes seeing some designers show up just fully glammed out, and it's like, how are you even getting from point A to point B? Going back to efficiencies, which we're going to talk about at our panel. Wear comfortable shoes. Be comfortable. Take some backups in your bag. But I mean, honestly, this is not a fashion show.
So wait, I do have a serious question, because that was the topic of my girlfriend's designer text message thread last night. I'm Googling how to be fashionable and comfortable at High Point. Will I get, and this is a serious question, will I get stares if my nice Nikes, but like my leggings and, oh, Robert's laughing at me.
He's
like,
already
laughing. If I wear cute athleisure, or are they going to be like, what is that girl wearing?
I can tell that we joke about this all the time. We joke that the official uniform of High Point Market is a sundress, a hat, and sneakers. I mean, that's what most girls seem to be wearing, but it runs the gamut. And honestly, I just think the more comfortable you are, the better, because you've got to accomplish a lot in a very short period of time. And so if you're in your leggings and your running shoes, that means you're there to do business.
Okay, right.
No judgment.
I should have started training for this like last month or something. There should be a marathon after this, the High Point Marathon.
Right.
It is a marathon.
It is.
I actually have a question for someone in Daniel House Club. So if I'm going to a showroom and I'm imagining they swarm you, right? Like, buy from us, scan the bat, all the things. Am I sharing that I'm buying through Daniel House Club? Is that a secret? Like, give me the vibe check. Minus, I'm not going to say the one vendor.
Yes, there's one vendor
Phil's laughing.
Suggest that you're working with us. We buy them through a third party. The third party is much larger than that vendor, and the third party is an advocate for us. So,
okay.
Otherwise, all of the vendors are pretty familiar with us and really consider us a great partner to them, and are very happy to say, yeah, we work with Daniel House and we understand that you're buying through them. And we always appreciate if you tell them that you're having a good experience, because that's,
I will.
Yeah,
I've never been one to want to be called a groupie until I heard that podcast, and I was like, I am a Daniel House groupie, and I'm cool with that.
Yes, I've called Meredith out in many podcasts because you are such a great.
I just love it. So for those on the call right now, I finally got to meet Robert in real life. Was it last week, Robert? Last week we did a designer roundtable, which I cannot recommend enough for wherever y'all are, but with a bunch of different designers, just kind of spitballing, and everyone at the end of every meeting, call, podcast is like, are they paying you? I'm like, no, I just genuinely would not have my business if it were without them. In fact, one more plug, I know this is about High Point, but I'm transforming, up-leveling the business right now, really getting organized, looking to hire a designer with a technical background. If anyone's in Connecticut, send them my way. And I've been interviewing procurement managers, procurement operations managers. Everything these people were saying to me, I'm not kidding. I'm like, Daniel House does that. Daniel House does that. I don't need that. Daniel House does that for me. Like this one woman was like, you know, tracking down all of the hundreds of tracking orders you have. I'm like, I don't do that. I get a report every week and I have all my information there. Well, you know, calling all the vendors and the 17 different vendors you work with. I don't work with 17 vendors. I work with one. So it was really cool just to, again, plug Rick and my panel or conversation Sunday morning, talk about efficiencies and just how efficient I can be. And my business consultant was like, why are you you don't need to. You have Daniel House Club. So thank you all, Gina and Phil and Renee.
I appreciate that plug. I'll say we spoke with somebody at the recent IDS Portland event who said that she was working with a business coach who told her she needed to go direct to manufacturers, that she couldn't work with us because she needs those long-standing relationships, which, you know, I respect that viewpoint. But she said, I started it and I tried it for a few months, and it was so challenging. I went back, these were her words, not mine. I went back to my coach and I said, you're an idiot. I have to do it this way because it is saving me so much time. So I think there are instances where the manufacturer is the right way to go for some businesses, but we save a lot of time for our designers who are working with 17 to 200 vendors all at one time. And
I'm sweating.
You're fine. I just saw a question come up or a comment come up in the notes about the uniform. So maybe we should circle back on that. Like I said, I think it's important to be comfortable and be efficient and be ready for business. But to that comment's point, you will be interacting with reps and marketing professionals and high level people within each vendor's organization. And so you do want to be mindful of that. But again, does it mean show up in a full, business attire? Not necessarily. I think we all know how to be comfortable and still come off professionally.
Fine.
I will say that the people are more dressed up early in market. By Tuesday, definitely a low key atmosphere.
Yes.
So that's another thing to think about, bring out your bright, shiny, whatever, your Nikes with the silver swoosh on Saturday, and then on, Tuesday, just be wearing your plain whites, so. Yeah.
And I am already here at market. I just got into my hotel room, and it is supposed to be a little bit rainy the first couple of days. So I kept saying to our partner who we're doing an outdoor installation with, I've never been to market in the rain. So Here we are. And Saturday is supposed to be a little bit rainy, and then I think it's supposed to clear up. So just ask for a little bit of drizzle.
Well, Peter, you bring up a good point, and Meredith, you and I had this conversation offline about when are you supposed to show up? Like, how long is market and when do we show up? And I think that's a really good question. And I learned early on that I guess tomorrow technically is, opening day of market, but there are a lot of designers who are in town right now previewing various showrooms. So I think the halls don't actually open until tomorrow, but there are a lot of freestanding showrooms that have been open for a couple of days already for preview, for appointments and things like that. So, High Point is really spread out over several days, and a lot of designers have to pick and choose when they want to arrive. Do they want to get there early? If I'm shopping antique, I want to be there early before everything's tagged. If that's not important to me, or if I'm local, maybe I'm going to come towards the tail end when it's less crowded and I can still get my business done. So I think it depends on where you're traveling from. So there needs to be a strategy. There is no right or wrong. I'm West Coast, so Friday has always been my travel day. I'm there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and travel home on Tuesday. I don't think I've ever been there past Tuesday.
I have one last question, but I know we have to wrap up soon. And by the close and my next question, y'all can see where my priorities are. But talk to me about food. Am I going to breakfast before? Is there breakfast? Is there a good showroom? Do I need to schedule dinners? I went to school in Raleigh. I went to NC State, and I've been to High Point before the school. I played soccer, so I've played them before. And I know outside of that, McDonald's and Wendy's. So what's my food strategy? And should I be Uber Eats from Stop and Shop while I'm there.
Now, I'm right there with you. I'm really particular about like where I stay, where my hotel is, and where I eat. And so I've learned early on, like I always make my hotel reservation months and months in advance, usually a couple of months after, like for instance, a couple of months after spring market, I will have already reserved for fall, because you want to get on that list and you want it to be reoccurring. And that'll help you land in an area that you feel comfortable with. I like staying in Greensboro. I have my favorite hotel. I have my favorite restaurants. I make those reservations well in advance so that when the time comes, I'm not scrambling, because at the end of my day, I like going back to my hotel. I like having a civilized meal. I'm not the guy that's going to go out or stay late at High Point Market for the concert and drinks and stuff like that. So it just depends on what you want to do, how you want to wrap up your evening, but you do have to plan in advance for sure. If you want to go someplace like borderline bougie for dinner, you need those reservations. And listen, High Point is just a madhouse this time of year, twice a year. So you've got to plan ahead for reservations and things like that.
Okay.
I would all that said, I would say if you're paying for lunch, you might be doing Market Rock. There are lots of opportunities to get.
Okay, but it's not like the Hampton Inn continental breakfast type stitch.
No, many of the showrooms, even like Four Hands, actually will serve you a sit-down meal if you prepare in advance
on the Krypton fabric and pour your coffee and work.
Exactly. Yeah.
I highly recommend the fried chicken at Theodore Alexander. It's Southern fried chicken, and it's amazing.
Yeah. And Theodore Alexander is a great showroom to eat lunch in because it has its own huge dining room. And a sort of like, I would say, all you can eat buffet of stuff.
Yeah.
And full service bar. And then Jaipur has a 100% vegetarian meals. So there's really something for everybody. And I think
Hooker Furnishings has like a cafeteria practically. And I know Hinkley Lighting is also a great place. I always make sure and stop by there when I'm hungry because they've got food going all day long.
Bernhard, but I'm not going to starve.
Neil Kelly is great for breakfast too.
Okay. Oh my
gosh. Not Neil Kelly, but
Yep.
Kelly O'Neill. Sorry. Kelly O'Neill, fantastic breakfast.
I am so excited.
If you want a little bit of a stipper drink, go to Four Hands. They have a great bar.
Yes. There's also for breakfast one little showroom that's kind of near the Broad Hall Caderas building that has a bunch of kind of eclectic things. One we carry called a Vasa, which is for bedding, but they always have this huge pile of breakfast burritos and you can just kind of keep eating them. And they are the little burritos I've ever had. So
they're really, really good.
That's,
really good.
That's Kelly O'Neill.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Okay.
Cut off by itself. Yeah, and you get to see all these wonderful
small
vendors, art and everything. And yeah, their breakfast burritos are really, really good.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Meredith, at Market, there is a lot of food to be had. Just ask around. There is no shortage of food. You'll get a good meal at Market. Leaving Market, slightly different story.
Yeah, no, I'm all about like being there efficient at an 8 p.m. bedtime. That's no one saying, mom.
And we as a team, we stayed in Greensboro the first year, and we found actually Winston to be a little more accommodating to restaurants and their little downtown area. Everything's walkable there. So it's really a personal preference, but Winston-Salem and then Greensboro are the two primary areas that you'll stay at, because there's really nothing in High Point other than the showrooms. So it is 1 o'clock. It's a little bit after 1 o'clock, so I just want to be mindful of time.
Can I just add one more quick tip? When you're on the bus, talk to the people around you and find out the showrooms that they're going to, that they're excited about, and where they're going for meals.
Yeah.
You will learn so many things from other designers on the bus. That's another reason to
genius.
Very good tip.
And
it's a great place to network, not only with your vendors, but also to network with other designers. And I think that's really important. Yeah.
I'm so excited. You guys, if you see me, please say hi. I'm so nervous, but I'm excited.
Come
say hello. Also, Robert, I know you're not going, but I'm letting you know, if Phil does not show up with a water bottle or whatever that thing was that you had last week.
Okay.
She's talking.
Well, I've got a
little mess. She's talking about our DHC service.
Oh, I'll have someone who hasn't flown pack one for you, Meredith.
Yeah,
Someone
if not, next time.
In fact, our film
And Peter,
guys,
don't forget my socks.
Rick, I've got your socks, and you guys, we're giving out the DHC baseball caps. This
Oh, I
time.
love that. Okay, wait, where is that? Real quick. I know. Sorry, we're late.
This is on Showplace Walkway,
Okay.
right outside of Showplace as you're entering to go into like Four Hands and whatever. A number of our vendors have been sponsors, so it's all furnished like a little lounge. And then just one last plug for Rick and Meredith at the CFC showroom. On Sunday morning, you can get there at 9. We'll have a little bit of breakfast and showroom tours, and then they will be talking about efficiencies. And then later in the afternoon at Dovetail at 3:15 and 4 o'clock, we have back-to-back talks, one including Meredith and her wonderful lawyer, Wendy Estilla, and then one including Rick and a number of other coaches. It's called Coaches and Cocktails, and I think we're drinking Cosmos. And that's just both are really an opportunity to come with your legal questions or your design business coaching questions and get those answered in a kind of informal audience engagement kind of way. So we hope that you will be there.
Yes.
Jealous.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you both, Meredith and Rick and Beth.
Thank
Beth
you.
was our special guest this go around. I love it. No, don't apologize.
I'm such a wallflower. I couldn't help, you know.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I wish more people just piped up. So yeah, thank you. But thanks everybody. Have a wonderful market, everybody who's going to be at markets. It is fun. It is exciting. There is a lot to see. I do have a little bit of FOMO, I have to say. So, you know, yeah,
it's real. It really is real.
We'll see you in the
I
fall.
know
Yes.
the best team will be there. The best team will be there, which is us, patting ourselves on the back. But no, seriously, have a wonderful show. We will meet next month at the last Thursday of the month in May. And Peter, who's our guest in May? Do we have our guest?
I believe it will be Benjamin Reyes, who is a photographer and who travels all over. He does great photography work, and he's going to talk about the value of photography and what
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, great. And then just one last thing. Housekeeping, if you need to get in touch with concierge services, always feel free to reach out to us by phone, by email, or by live chat. We're open from 9 to 6 Eastern time, Monday through Friday. You can reach us at concierge@danielhouse.club or submit a form, a contact us form through the website, or you can just live chat us. And if we're available, we will pick up the live chat, or you can pick up the phone and call. And we do have live people that answer. It is not an AI generated system at all. We do have live people to talk to. So we look forward to that. And again, thank you to Rick and to Meredith. And have a wonderful market, everybody. Have a good start to spring, and we'll see you in May.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
See you later.
Bye.
Hi, everyone.